Midnight Weird presents
Voodoo orgies, riots, suicides.
Ancient and vile form of devil worship.
What has risen may sink, and what has sunk may rise.
That is not dead which can eternal lie.
a radio adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's Call of Cthulhu. Brought to you by the Cult of Midnight Weird.
Chapter 1. The Horror in Clay. Found among the papers of the late Francis Wayland Thurston of Boston.
Of such great powers or beings, there may be conceivably a survival. A survival of a hugely remote period when consciousness was manifested, perhaps in shapes and forms long since withdrawn before the tide of advancing humanity. Forms of which poetry and legend alone have caught a flying memory and called them gods, monsters, mythical beings of all sorts and kinds. Algernon Blackwood. The most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all of its contents. We live on a placid island of ignorance in the midst of black seas of infinity, and it's not meant that we should voyage far. Yet someday, the piecing together of knowledge will unveil such terrifying vistas that we shall either go mad from the revelation or flee from the deadly light into the peace and safety of a new dark age. My chilling glimpse of those vistas came not from mystic speculation, but from old newspaper clippings and a dead professor's notes. I'll never speak more than I must, lest I stir what should stay buried. My knowledge of the terrible thing began in Providence, Rhode Island during the winter of 1926 to 27. My granduncle, George Gamble Angel, Professor Emeritus of Semitic Languages at Brown University, was an authority on ancient inscriptions and widely known among prominent museums. He passed away under mysterious circumstances at the age of 92. Witnesses claimed he collapsed whilst returning home from a Newport boat. After a jostle from a strange, dark, nautical-looking man. Doctors found no visible disorder, and after much perplexed debate, concluded a heart lesion, induced by the brisk ascent of so steep a hill, was responsible for his end. At the time, I accepted their verdict, but I'm inclined to wonder, and more than wonder. As his heir and executor, I inherited his papers and moved all his files to my study in Boston. Among them was one box I found exceedingly puzzling. It remained locked until it occurred to me to check the professor's personal key ring, which he always carried in his pocket. I opened it only to be confronted by a queer clay bas-relief, along with disjointed jottings, ramblings, and newspaper cuttings. The bas-relief was a rough rectangle about 5 by 6 inches, obviously modern in origin but ancient in atmosphere. Strange, cryptic symbols, clearly some form of prehistoric writing, covered most of the piece. Despite my familiarity with my uncle's collections, I could not identify the script or even hint at its origins. Above the hieroglyphics was a grotesque figure, so impressionistic that its exact nature was difficult to discern. It seemed to depict a monstrous form which only a diseased mind could conceive. A fusion of octopus, dragon, and distorted human caricature. A pulpy, tentacle head surmounted a grotesque and scaly body with rudimentary wings. The outline as a whole is what made it so generally shocking. Behind it, there loomed a vague suggestion of ancient cyclopean architecture. Amongst the oddity, aside from the newspaper cuttings, was a manuscript written in the professor's hand. Its label was painstakingly printed in characters as to avoid reading a word so unheard of. CTHULHUCULT. The first half of the manuscript told a very peculiar tale around the dreams of one Henry Anthony Wilcox, who had arrived at my uncle's home with his very object 2 years prior, on March 1st of 1925.
Yes? Can I help you?
Professor Angel, forgive me for arriving unannounced, but I had to see you regarding a strange dream I had last night. You see, I am what you might call psychically hypersensitive.
Hypersensitive? What nonsense are you rambling about? Wait,
You're the Wilcox youngest boy, the sculptor.
Indeed, Professor, yes. Henry Wilcox. I'm studying at the Rhode Island School of Design. I brought something that warrants your immediate attention.
Yes, I've heard you're a little unique, but so are most great minds. Well, I suppose you better come in. There is a storm brewing overhead. Sit and tell me, what use has a sculptor for an old archaeologist?
What can you tell me of this piece? What ancient tongue is it? What secrets does it hold?
Bas-relief. I don't recognize the hieroglyphics. Wait, it's still dab. This is no artifact. If you're trying to play some prank, young man, I'll have you know...
No, it is new indeed, for I made it last night in a dream of strange cities. And dreams are older than brooding Taya, or the contemplative Sphinx, or a god-and-good of Babylon.
A dream, you say? Perhaps you should be consulting a psychologist.
It came to me last night, after that unusual earthquake. I retired under the shadow of tremors in my mind, fled to strange places.
Fled? To where exactly?
Great cities, cyclopean and titanic, blocks of stone too vast for mortal hands, dripping with green foul ooze. Their angles bent wrong and bore symbols, hieroglyphs I had never seen yet somehow knew. And from below, a voice, yet not a voice. It echoed a chaotic sensation without sound. Still my waking lips tried to capture it. Cthulhu, Fatagan.
Say that again.
Cthulhu, Fatagan.
Where did you learn this phrase?
Nowhere. It came to me last night in the dream.
Are you or have you ever been a member of a secret society?
No.
An esoteric religious order? Study of the occult? Don't lie to me, boy.
No, heavens no. I merely dreamt it.
All these years later, I'd nearly forgotten. If you have any more of these dreams, you must report them to me at once.
You wish of me to return?
Yes, every day if need be. Whatever you see, every fragment, every sound.
Very well, Professor. You seemed troubled, sir.
There are dreams that stir memories. Memories best left forgotten.
Wilcox returned daily and spoke of the city in his dreams, a place of non-Euclidean angles, monstrous architecture, and a terrible slumbering presence that whispered in tongues no man should know. This continued for several weeks until on March the 23rd, Henry Wilcox failed to appear. Upon investigation, it was revealed that he was overcome by some obscure fever and taken to his family home. My uncle kept a close watch on the case and in frequent contact with Dr. Toby, who oversaw Wilcox's care.
His fever's odd. It's barely above normal, yet he is delirious, trembling, and speaking in strange tongues.
And what has he been speaking of?
Uncanny dreams? Mostly strange cities he's described before, but now, something more. A thing. Miles high, lumbering through those ancient places. He never describes it fully, but whenever he mentions it, he falls silent, slipping into lethargy.
Yes, it must be the same monstrosity he tried to depict in clay.
Then, on April 2nd, around 3 p.m., just as suddenly as the fever had taken him, he awoke, remembering nothing of his dreams or ravings, and return they did not. The professor spent one more week recounting Wilcox's night thoughts before abandoning the effort altogether. The first part of the manuscript ends here, but my uncle's notes gave me much to ponder. For seemingly without hesitation, he had launched an extensive investigation amongst his acquaintances for dream reports during the same period as Wilcox's nightly visitations. Most reports amongst the scientific and common man were mundane, except the scattered reports of vague nocturnal impressions during the period of March 23rd to April 2nd, the same period as Wilcox's delirium. However, it was the correspondence amongst the sensitive souls, the artists and poets, that incited panic.
These reports, they're connected somehow. Bizarre landscapes, strange visions. Some speak of a giant nameless thing just as Wilcox had during his fever. One architect went mad on the same night as Wilcox. After months of screaming for salvation from unspeakable horror, he died raving.
I half suspected a hoax, but still, too many coincidences piled up.
Is it possible? They all felt it? That thing?
My uncle's investigation expanded. The press began picking up on strange happenings across the globe. Panic, mania, visions. There were suicides, riots, and a sudden surge in strange rituals.
I don't know what happened. They just started chanting, like they were possessed.
In Paris, an artist exhibited a dream landscape. His painting inspired dread in those who gazed upon it.
It's coming. I saw it in my dream. I know it.
From Africa to the Philippines, from the Caribbean to the streets of New York, the world seemed to be on edge. Yet none of the authorities could connect the dots. None except for my uncle.
Voodoo orgies, riots, suicides, all on the same dates. This is impossible to deny.
It was a pattern too vast to dismiss. However, at that time I still remained unconvinced, suspecting young Wilcox was privy to secret knowledge and merely acting in jest. For the second part of my uncle's manuscript was an account far older than Wilcox's story. It told of a meeting in 1908, 17 years earlier, when an inspector of the New Orleans police visited the American Archaeological Society during its annual meeting in St. Louis.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
One 100 years ago, it sank beneath the waves. A city of impossible geometry, lost to time and tide. Now, for the first time ever, you have the chance to witness history in the making. Join the world's leading deep-sea explorers as they embark on a once-in-a-lifetime journey to the legendary ruins of Relay, a civilization predating mankind, monoliths untouched by human hands. What secrets lie beneath the abyss? What knowledge has slumbered for eons, waiting to be discovered? Join us tonight on the 100th anniversary of its sinking. Experience history live as we venture deeper than any human has dared before to answer the call of science.
Chapter 2, The Tale of Inspector Legrasse.
You know, Angel, that latest excavation in Mexico could shed some light on the Olmecs he had.
Haha, yes. A promising discovery indeed. Hopefully it will prove fruitful.
Pardon, gentlemen. Forgive the interruption. I'm looking for one Professor Angel.
Yes, that would be me. What can I do for you, mister?
John Raymond Legrasse, Inspector of Police, New Orleans.
Oh, you've traveled quite some distance, Inspector. Whatever brings you here?
I'm here professionally. As it would seem, the information I seek is not obtainable from any local source. Some months ago, I was involved in a raid on a voodoo cult deep in the wooded swamps just south of New Orleans. We discovered a rather grotesque and repulsive stone statue, or idol, fetish, whatever you may call it. I'm sad to say the cult largely remains unknown to us, other than their practices are far more diabolical than any voodoo circle known to man. It has left a great many anxious for any information that would shed light upon these dark practices.
Oh my, how very intriguing. Do you have the item in question with you?
Yes, it's here in my case.
Gentlemen, we have a special guest. Inspector Legrasse from New Orleans has brought us an item associated with a mysterious cult.
By the heavens, the archaic strangeness.
What infernal workmanship.
It is of no school of sculpture that I recognize.
It appears to be between 7 and 8 inches in height and of exquisitely artistic workmanship.
It's some kind of soapstone with a greenish-black surface streaked with golden and iridescent flecks and striations.
Yet resembles nothing familiar to geology or mineralogy.
It seems to record centuries, perhaps even thousands of years.
A monster of vaguely anthropoid shape with a cephalopod, octopus-like head and face a mass of feelers.
The body, bloated and corpulent, is rubbery and scaly,
with prodigious claws on both hind and forefeet.
It appears to have narrow wings running along its back, the tips brushing against the black pedestal on which it squats.
And the base. What strange character.
Quite baffling indeed. Defies any language that I know of.
My God.
William, you've been awfully quiet. Have you any thoughts?
I can't be certain, but there are parallels.
Anything you could tell me regarding the origin of this thing would be of great value, sir.
William Channing Webb, professor of anthropology at Princeton University, and once a renowned explorer. Come now, William, what have you seen?
48 years ago, in 1860, I was on a tour of Greenland and Iceland in search of some runic inscriptions. We failed to unearth any. But what I found, quite by accident, was something far more unsettling. High up on the West Greenland coast, we came across a tribe, more accurately, a cult of degenerate Eskimo, shunned by their own for practicing an ancient and vile form of devil worship. The locals spoke of them in hushed tones, claiming their faith had come from aeons before the world as we know it was even created. This cult performed unspeakable rites, human sacrifices, nameless ceremonies, hereditary rituals. They worshipped a being they called Tornasak, their word for some supreme devil figure. I managed to copy a ritual chant from an old Angok, a shaman of sorts, though I could barely make sense of it, just strange sounds, rendered as best I could in Roman letters. Most concerning, though, when the aura leaped high over the ice cliffs, the cult would gather and dance around a very crude bas-relief in stone. Hideous it was, comprising the same strange markings and bestial features.
Greenland, you say?
You spoke of a chant during the ritual. The cultists worshiping in the swamps also had a strange chant. By chance, do you remember what it was?
I can never forget. Fnaglui, Megulunaf, Cthulhu, Roulé, Woganaglu, Futharn. Though I have not the slightest idea what it means.
Perhaps I can return the favor and enlighten you, Professor, for that's the same chant them cultists were hollering in the swamp. And after long interrogations, we got us the translation. In his house at Roulé, dead Cthulhu waits dreaming.
Cthulhu.
Did they say anything else?
How did you discover them?
Please, tell us what you know.
If you insist, gentlemen. It began on November 1st, 1907. We received frantic summons from the squatters living in the swamp country to the south. A stark terror had gripped them in the night.
I'm telling y'all, the tom-toms be what started it. Them devil drums beating in them haunted woods. Ain't no dweller goes in there, but something done come out.
Voodoo, but worse than any voodoo we ever saw. The woman, the children, they gone, snatched up in the dead o' night. We hear 'em screaming and chanting.
Soul chilling they is, dancing round flames. We can't stand it no more. Y'all gotta come or there won't be nobody left.
You hearing this, Legrasse?
I hear it all right. Y'all folks calm down now. We'll look into it. Officer Sinclair, go on and round up 20 men, then go get the carriages and auto ready. I'll be needing one of y'all to come with and show us where the ruckus be at.
Remy Dumal, I'll show you.
Good man, Remy. We set out late that afternoon, brought lanterns and shotguns, but none of it will prepare us for what lay ahead.
We go as far as the road will take us. After that, it all swamp. Ain't no light but what you bring, and the trees, they choke out the sky.
You say the drumming started last night?
We, non-stop, and the screams, them too, it's been getting louder.
Swamp folk playing at ghost stories.
None, there's something out there, something old, something bad.
We reached the end of the road and trudged on foot through the murky cypress swamp. Malformed roots twisted beneath us, snaring at our boots. The air thick with the scent of decay, moss hung low like nooses poisoned to pattern. Each step heavier, weighed down by the presence of ancient woods.
hear that?
They're the devil drums. We close.
Stay sharp, boys. We entered the settlement, if it could even be called that, a collection of crooked, rotten huts huddled together. The ground was soft with muck, and the air carried the scent of mold and rot. Few squatters still lingering at the edges of their homes moved cautiously, watching us with wide eyes full of fear.
Ooh, they come. Ooh, they come. It ain't safe. No.
No. Them drums won't stop. They just keep a pounding.
It's okay. They're here to help.
They didn't sound human.
Wildcat, maybe?
No, cat. Devils.
Bat-winged devils fly out from caves deep in the earth. Always at midnight. Always to drums.
They worship that old one. Big, white, formless with eyes that glow like lanterns. It came from before the white man, before the Indians, before the beasts, and the birds, and even the trees.
Nightmare itself. It don't just kill men. It makes them dream. Dreams that make them mad.
They having a voodoo orgy. It only on the edge of where it dwells. Even here, we too close. To see it is to die.
Great. Just great.
That a fire?
There, past that overgrowth, where the red light glows, be a hidden lake. No man goes and ever tells of it. We come from there. I don't go further, not one step.
Well, we didn't come this far to turn back, boys.
I pray you come back, Monsieur Legrasse.
Come back! S'il vous plaît! Don't go to them dogs! They hate people!
Only poetry of madness could capture the sounds that assaulted us as we plowed on through the black morass towards the red glare. The drumming was relentless, but now others joined. Bestial howls and guttural cries, mixed with the shrieking of human voices. Some tones belonged to man, others to beast, and the horror came when one blended into the other.
Hear that? That don't sound like no animal I ever heard. Something's wrong.
Keep moving and stay close. Then we broke through the trees and beheld the nightmare.
Mother God. I can't. Oh God, what is that?
Sinclair fainted.
Get a hold of yourselves. We stood trembling on the edge of a clearing. In the center stood a grassy island, clear of trees. Leaped and twisted a horde of human spawn, void of clothing, bellowing and writhing about a monstrous ring-shaped bonfire. In the center rose a great monolith from a curtain of flames, some 8 feet high, on which rested that noxious stone statue.
Look!
Sweet Lord.
I'm gonna be sick.
Hung from scaffolds in a wide circle around the bonfire were the missing squatters, their lifeless bodies marred and twisted, dangling in macabre rhythm to the infernal ritual below.
There's something out there. Wings, huge wings, and eyes, glowing eyes in the darkness.
It's just your nerves. Stay focused. We going in.
There's almost 100 of them. We'll be slaughtered.
We got firearms and surprise on our side. No hesitation. Now move. For 5 minutes, chaos reigned. Blows struck, shots fired into the night, and the mad deviants scattered like wild beasts. Count the prisoners.
4 to 7 captured, sir. 5 dead, 2 wounded.
Get them in line, and for God's sakes, get some clothes on them. Duty done. We left that cursed glade with more questions than answers. The air still thick with smoke, blood, and madness. Sounds lingered, whispers, maybe echoes, or maybe something deeper, just beyond the edge of our hearing. All right, now, quiet down. Galvez, what we got?
All 47 books, sir. Can't get much out of them, though. They don't want to talk.
You rough them up?
Yes, sir. From what we can gather, most are seamen. Got a few West Indians and Cape Verdeans sprinkled in. Probably Brava Portuguese.
Voodoo roots, then?
Maybe. But this don't feel like any voodoo I ever heard of.
Ain't no voodoo. Older, before men. When world be young they came. gone now in earth, beneath sea. The great old ones wait, dreaming.
Looks like we have a volunteer. Get him to the interrogation room and get some coffee. It's going to be a long night. So, Castro, what's an old weathered sailor doing naked with a pile of human corpses in a musty old swamp?
I sailed far, seen strange lands, mountains of China. Deathless priests told me of ancient cities, stone houses on sunken islands in Pacific, Relay, where they lie sleeping, whisper in dreams. I keep the old ways alive with ritual, telling of his return.
Whose return? Them old ones you talking about?
Sea came from stars long ago when Earth was soft. Aeons they ruled, but now stars wrong, and they must sleep. They taught the first men their secrets through dreams, gave them idols from stars darker than night. No man has ever seen them. They are beyond flesh and bone.
What do you mean the stars are wrong?
When stars right, they plunge from world to world through sky. But when stars wrong, they not live. But though they not live, they would never die. They lie in tombs. Millions of years they see all in universe. The great priests put them to sleep, and it is we that shall wake them.
And what happens when these old ones wake up?
A new age. Mankind become as great old ones, free and wild, beyond good and evil. A time when laws, morals, gone. Earth become flame with chaos, killing, joy, free.
That sounds mighty unpleasant. This statue of yours, the one y'all be dancing around, this supposed to be an old one?
It is the greatest of old ones, the great priest himself. Cthulhu.
Cthulhu. I recall hearing that in the chant y'all was singing.
In his house at Relay, dead Cthulhu waits, dreaming.
So China, that's where this cult of yours comes from?
No, cult is everywhere, and we will never die. The center, in pathless deserts of Arabia, lies Iram, city of pillars, where dreams are hidden and untouched. Mad Arab Abdul Azahar has seen it, wrote many secrets in Al-Azif, Necronomicon, but you must read closely to see.
And what does this Necrocominon say?
That is not dead which can eternal lie, and with strange eons even death may die.
That's all I could get out of them. They kept secrets that even torture could not extract. All denied a part in the ritual murders, claimed that killings were done by the black-winged devils. Only 2 of the prisoners were found sane enough to be hanged. The rest were institutionalized. I must thank you, gentlemen. I scoured every source I could find, but none could tell me more of this secret cult or their idol or worship, until meeting Professor Webb, that is, and learning of his Greenland account.
Likewise, Inspector. Had we not met, I would have forgotten the account altogether and taken it to my grave.
Perhaps forgetting is a mercy. There are some things best left forgot. Well, I'll be off to Louisiana in the morning. Please take my card and contact me should you have further inquiries or developments. And know you're always welcome in New Orleans.
Before you go, could I trouble you to borrow that idol for a time? I'd very much like to study it further.
Well, seeing as it's no longer needed as evidence, it won't do me a lick of good. I reckon that's all right. Professor Angel, Professor Webb, gentlemen, I bid you adieu.
Farewell, Inspector. How very unusual.
If the accounts are to be believed, this secret cult, well, the ramifications.
Best not to jump to conclusions without undeniable evidence. We risk tarnishing decades of work and dismissal as charlatans. Caution is of the utmost care.
The parallels my late uncle must have drawn are obvious. Wilcox's dreams not only depicted the idol's form in hieroglyphics, but also mirrored the Greenland Devil Tablet, and included words uttered by both the Eskimo cultist and the swamp-dwelling seamen of Louisiana. It was no wonder Professor Angel began his investigation with such fervor. Yet, in private, I still harbored suspicion that Wilcox may have encountered some obscure mention of the cult and fabricated his visions. To confirm my suspicions, I traveled to Providence to visit young Wilcox at the Fleur-de-Lis building on Thomas Street. The Fleur-de-Lis loomed grotesque, a hideous Victorian mockery of Breton architecture, jarring against Providence's colonial grace. As out of place as Wilcox's nightmarish visions, I found him amid his cluttered rooms, hunched over clay. Figures of haunting genius, visions of madness molded to life. Whatever his motives, his talent was undeniable and struck me with a shiver of doubt. I had underestimated the full gravity of what I was facing.
Yes?
You are Henry Wilcox?
I am. What is this about?
Francis Thurston. I'm the nephew of Professor Angel.
Professor Angel. My condolences. I was sad to hear of his passing. What may I do for you?
You and my uncle had a brief correspondence for a time. I'm curious, what about?
The old scholar enjoyed poking about my dreams. Strange man. I wonder why he cared so much. Some eccentric fascination, I assume.
He never told you why?
No, not a word.
Can you tell me of these dreams you discussed with him?
Very well. It's always the city. Damp, cyclopean, slimy green stone. Walls towering at impossible angles. Geometry defies logic. Shapes that twist the mind just to look at. There's something beneath it, calling to me, a ceaseless half-mental voice.
What does it say?
Cthulhu Fatagan. Cthulhu Fatagan. Repeating like a chant.
And the figure you sculpted for Angel was from those dreams? You had never seen it before.
Oh, you mean this figure?
My God, it's unmistakable.
My recent work, yes. I never saw anything like this in my waking life. Formed itself under my hands. The shape just emerged. Whatever it is, I've dreamt of it enough to burn its image into my bones.
Very well, Mr. Wilcox. I'll not trouble you further.
Yes, how kind of you.
I wish you success in your work.
Success or madness. It's a fine line with art, isn't it?
Despite my doubt, I could not deny Wilcox's sincerity. His rudeness grated on me, but his genius was undeniable, and whatever had inspired him, it had left its mark, deep and indelible. I left that day with a troubled heart, no matter how I tried to rationalize the dreams, the sculpture, and that dreaded city loomed large in my mind, refusing to fade into the realm of mere imagination. After Professor Webb's death, the idol was returned to Inspector Legrasse. I sought him out in New Orleans, and the remnants of that old raiding party. Seeing the grotesque figure confirmed its undeniable connection to Wilcox's bas-relief. The cult continued to fascinate me. I spoke with the surviving prisoners, though old Castro had long since passed. Their accounts confirmed everything my uncle had documented. I felt certain I had uncovered a hidden ancient religion, a discovery that could cement my place in anthropology. Yet, stubborn materialism dismissed any deeper significance. Dark suspicion still lingered. I feared my uncle's death on the narrow, crowded street near the old waterfront, after a careless push from a sailor, was anything but natural. Given the cult's seafaring ties, the possibility of foul play loomed large, and I would not be surprised if secret poison needles, as ruthless as their ancient rites, had come into play. Legrasse and his men had been left untouched, but a certain Norwegian seaman was not so lucky. I believe my uncle died because he knew, or was about to learn, too much. Whether I will share his fate, only time will tell. For I have learned far more than I ever intended.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
We are descending now into the structures. They're larger than we thought. They shouldn't be possible. The angles, they hurt to look at. No signs of life, but the carvings look like... There is a door. A door, and it's opening. The water is moving the wrong way. I can see it. It sees me. Oh God, it sees me. It's awake and it's inside my head. It's talking. I can hear. Oh no. Oh no!
We are currently experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand.
Back to the show. Chapter 3, The Madness from the Sea.
If heaven ever wishes to grant me a boon, it will be the total erasure of mere chance that fixed my eye on a stray piece of newspaper. I'd abandoned my inquiries into what my late uncle, Professor Angel, had called the Cthulhu cult, and had taken a trip to New Jersey to visit an old friend, the curator of a local museum and mineralogist of note. A perfect distraction from dark memories. Yet fate has a way of driving the past into the present. As I examined the reserved specimens in the rear of the museum, I found myself staring at a familiar image amid the dusty stones on a crumpled old sheet of newspaper. The half-toned photograph turned my blood cold. That hideous stone idol, almost identical to the one Legrasse had discovered in the swamp. It was from the Signy Bulletin, April 18th, 1925. Mystery derelict found at sea. Vigilant arrives with...
Vigilant. They're towing a New Zealand yacht. The alert? It's heavily armed. Found April 12th. South latitude 34 degrees, 21 minutes. West longitude 152 degrees, 17 minutes. They're headed for Darling Harbour. 2 men found aboard, 1 dead, the other is in critical condition. Strange unknown statue recovered. Inquiry to follow.
Notify the Admiralty of the situation immediately, then send word to Wellington. Have them inquire into the alert and its crew.
Yes, sir.
He's been slipping in and out of consciousness. The fever's broken, but there's a terror in his mind I can't treat.
And the dead man?
Exposure most likely, but can't say for sure.
Yes. Well, the Admiralty needs answers. Can he speak?
The island.
Easy, Gustav. You're safe. There is a gentleman here that would like to speak with you.
Greetings, Mr. Johansson. Apologies for the intrusion. I'm Commander Thomas Whitmore, British Royal Admiralty. We have some inquiries regarding your discovery aboard the Alert and the location of your crew and vessel, the Emma.
You'll wish you hadn't asked.
Yes. Well, paperwork must be done. You set off from Auckland on February 20th, aboard the Emma with 11 men, bound for Calais. What happened exactly?
Good men. Collins was captain, Green his mate, me second. There was Donovan, Rodriguez, Olsen, Hawkins, Guerrera, Angstrom, Parker, and Bryden. Storms hit us March 1st. Terrible storms. We driven south, far south. March 22nd, we sighted it. The yacht. The Alert.
Storm's easing. We'll make Calais yet, lads. Keep your eyes sharp.
Captain, ship sighted starboard. It's a yacht. Steam powered.
What's a yacht doing out here? Steady, lads. Keep course.
She's armed. Brass cannons. Hard back. This God's sea. Forbidden water. He says to turn back. Something about gods and forbidden water.
Sea gods, eh? Tell him we're unarmed and trying to get back en route. We'll deal with the sea gods on our own. Keep her steady, men.
We are unarmed and need to get back en route. We do not fear the sea.
Nay, Captain. Feels wrong. Armed yachts looking for trouble.
Yeah, Smugglers, most likely. We'll keep our distance and...
They fire! Wait!
We're taking water fast.
Check the damage. Johansson, get the men armed and ready.
Aye.
She won't hold long, Captain.
Hard starboard, towards the bow. We board or we drown.
Men armed, Captain.
Ready your weapons. Prepare to grapple and haul us in.
In firing range.
Fire! Pull us in. Prepare to board her. Take the ship. For the Emma.
For the Emma.
Green is down. Damn you.
Captain, behind ye.
Go. Oh.
Yeah. Had to kill them all. Costas, Collins, Green, and Olsen. Dead. We patched the alert, best we could, sailed on. Then we found it.
It?
An island. Nachart knows it.
Describe it.
Nay, it was wrong.
What was wrong? What happened?
Nay. They fell. In chasm. That's all I say.
Who fell?
8 went on island. Only Bryden and me came back.
You're not telling me everything. The Admiralty wants facts, Johansson. What happened on the island?
The storm hit on April 2nd. Don't know what happened after. Flashes, lightning, waves, Bryden, gone.
Yes, Bryden was the dead man aboard with you. Very unfortunate. And what of the grotesque statue you brought back? Was that from the island?
Nah, found in the cabin on the alert.
Is there anything else you can tell me about the uncharted island, or what happened to your fellow crew? All right, Mr. Johansson. The Royal Admiralty will be in touch. I wish you the best on your recovery. Good day, old chap.
It's still out there, waiting.
This new evidence in that hellish image etched itself into my mind. What force compelled the horrid crew to order back the Emma while they sailed on with their grotesque idol? What horrors claimed the lives of 6 crew members on that uncharted island? And why would Johansson refuse to speak of it? What more was known of that noxious cult in Dunedin? The deeper I probed, the more dates aligned. February 28th, the earthquake and great storm struck. The alert set sail from Dunedin as if summoned by something unnatural. Far off, artists and poets dreamed of cyclopean cities, while one sculptor shaped that dreaded image in his sleep. March 23rd, the Emma's crew landed on an unknown island and 6 men perished. Across the world, dreams darkened with a dreaded monster and succumbed to madness and delirium. Then, April 2nd, the dream ceased. Wilcox emerged from his fever as though the siege on mankind's soul had ended. What of those whispers from Castro, of star-born old ones and a coming rain? Was I teetering on the brink of cosmic horrors, far beyond man's power to bear? Whatever these horrors were, they could not halt me. By nightfall, I had arranged everything. I bade my host farewell and boarded a train to San Francisco. In less than a month, I was in Dunedin, New Zealand, and sought out the scum-filled docks and sea taverns for leads not yet lost by obscurity. You knew the crew of the Alert?
Aye. They drift in now and then. Not a friendly lot. Bad reputation. Most folk knew to keep their distance.
What kind of reputation?
Let's just say there was rumours.
Rumours, you say?
Trips inland, deep in the woods, drumming, red flames, people go missing. Nasty business.
Do you think it was human sacrifice? Were they part of a cult?
I'd keep your voice down, lad. They ain't the only ones to be afraid of round these parts. Talk like that could be your last.
My overzealous behavior had paid off, but at what risk? From there, I traveled to Auckland, seeking out the last traces of Gustav Johansson. His small cottage on West Street was long since sold. He had left New Zealand behind, sailing home to Oslo with his wife. But what chilled me most were the reports. Johansson's hair, once a sunlit yellow, had turned stark white upon his return from sea, and to friend or acquaintance he spoke no more of his voyage than he had told the Admiralty. I traveled to Sydney and spoke with seamen and members of the Vice Admiralty Court, though they offered nothing of value. In Sydney Harbour, I found the Alert, no longer the sinister vessel of its past, but now a mere commercial ship, silent and indifferent to my inquiries. The Crouching Idol, however, had not vanished into obscurity. It now resided in the museum at Hyde Park. There it stood, the thing of cuttlefish head, dragon body, scaled wings, and hieroglyphed pedestal. Its craftsmanship was baleful, exquisite, the alien curves of its form. Its surface, colder than stone had any right to be.
Geologists call it a monstrous puzzle. No earthly place known to man holds rocks of this variety.
The words sent a shudder through me. I thought of what old Castro had told Legrasse long ago. They had come from the sky and gave them idols, from stars darker than night. Shaken, I made my decision. If answers were to be found, they lay in Oslo with Gustav Johansson. I sailed for London and from there boarded a vessel bound for Norway. Autumn had settled over Oslo by the time I arrived, the air crisp with the coming winter. Johansson's home laid in the old town. I made the brief trip by taxicab. My heart pounded as I knocked upon the door of a neat, aging house.
Hello?
A woman draped in mourning black answered the door. Her voice was soft and eyes heavy with loss. I knew the answer before I asked. Hello, I'm looking for Gustav Johansson.
Dead.
I had come too late. He had not survived his return. The sea had broken him, though he had spoken little of it. Whatever haunted his mind had consumed him in silence. His only confession was a manuscript titled Technical Matters, written in English as to shield her from its contents. His death had come sudden and strange. A bundle of papers, fallen from a window in the narrow lanes by the docks, had struck him down. 2 foreign sailors rushed to his aid, but before help could arrive, he was dead. Physicians found no cause of death and thus blamed his heart. I felt a dark terror gnawing at my vitals, one which shall not leave till I am at rest, accidentally or otherwise. I persuaded her by connection to her husband's Technical Matters, and she offered the manuscript with a trembling hand. I felt the weight of unseen horrors press into my palm. It was a simple, rambling thing, a sailor's naive attempt at a diary, striving to recall day by day the last awful voyage. Johansson, thank God, did not know the full extent of what lay beneath the sea, of the horrors that lurk, that seep from beyond time and space, from elder stars. I shall never sleep peacefully again. These things, these ancient terrors, known by a nightmare cult, would rise again, when the earth trembles, when the city emerges, once more to the sun and air. Johansson's voyage had begun, just as he had told it to the Vice Admiralty.
Forgetting, yeah, I have tried. Blotted out this voyage, but it sticks to me like slime from that damned place. March 23rd it was, after we sank the Alert and took their yacht. We'd survived the storm that shook the sea, a tempest born of something not natural, still shaken from the fight the men were, yet worse things, though, waited ahead, nay, not behind.
Captain Johansson, look! There, rising from the sea. Is that a city?
Rodriguez, he saw it first. A stone pillar sticking up from the water, then more. Mud and weed all mixed. A city. It could not be. Not with angles so wrong. Twisted they were. Still, look away I could not.
No, it can't be. It's monstrous. Look at the size of them blocks. Bigger than any cathedral.
And that pillar sticking out of the water like a finger pointing to hell.
It's not of this world, I tell you. No human hands built that.
Back I should have turned, yeah. But curious I was. Too much, maybe. Boats I told them to ready. Close we had to go. On that bank we landed, slopping and slimy. Boots sank in deep. Big, it stood over us, that city. Stones dripping, air humming, strange. Watched us it did. I felt it already.
This place, it feels alive, like it's watching us.
Close you stay, yeah? Right, this place is not. Eyes we don't trust here. Up we clambered, slipping over tightened blocks, oozy and wet. Stairs for mortals these were not, nay, too big, too wrong. The sun itself, high in heaven, twisted, it looked distorted through some haze, thick and strange, rising from this sea-soaked place. Menace there was, twisted and lurking in those carved rocks, angled so crazy, elusive they were. First I looked, convex they seemed, then again, concave they turned. Right it wasn't, and know I did, deep down, that here nothing sane belonged.
I can't tell if I'm walking uphill or down. The ground is shifting under my feet.
Look at these carvings. They're everywhere. On the walls, the pillars. Who you think made them?
Hey, they're horrible. Like something out of a nightmare. Look at that one. It's the same as the idol we found on the alert.
The squid dragon, yeah. Their god's home this could be. Before it we stood, a slab, big and carved with that squid dragon again. A door, yeah, heavy with years. Turned back, it whispered to me, but listen, I did not.
It's like a barn door, but 100 times larger. Who could open it?
Maybe it's not meant to be opened. Maybe it's keeping something out.
Or in it keeps. Bryden pushed at the stone, yeah, but nothing it gave.
It's not budging. It's like pushing against a mountain.
Then Donovan, he felt it over, careful, slow, pressing each spot along the edge. Climb he did along that grotesque molding, big and twisted. Climbing you'd call it, maybe, if horizontal it wasn't after all. Wondered we all how a door, any door in this world so vast could be.
Wait, feel here, along the edge. There's a seam, if I press just right.
Moving it is! Back you stand!
God, that smell. It's like death itself.
Out came smoke that blackened the sun. Thick, alive almost. Stink of old times hit us hard. Then heard I it. Slopping, wet, from deep inside. Blood froze in me.
What is that?
It's coming out, look!
And then saw I it. Green, slimy, big as a mountain, tentacles twisting, eyes burning, old hate. Unsee it my mind begged, but there it stood. Heavens God, alive it is!
Madre de Dios, salvados!
No, this can't be real.
Get back to now. Fled we did, but quick it was. Donovan, Guerrera, Angstrom snatched up my claws. Gone fast. Parker slipped, and reach him I could not before the strange angles took him. The others, gone mad. Only Bryden and me got to the boat.
Johansson, we have to go! It's coming!
Back to the alert we came, yeah. Hearts beating wild, like drums in a storm. Into the water it slid after us, the titan thing, slimy and green, flopping down the stones. Big waves it raised, cosmic they were, rocking us hard. Near capsized we were.
It's following us! It's swimming after the ship! Look at it! Tentacles thrashing! A walking mountain of madness!
Look down on it! Engines ye start. Full steam we go, now.
It's in the water. It's gaining. Those waves, they'll swallow us. We'll never outrun it, Johansson.
Outrun we can't, nay. Too big, too strong. Fight then we will. Ship, we turn around.
You're insane. Fight that? It's no beast. It's a nightmare. We're doomed, Johansson. Doomed, I tell you. We're doomed. A dream, huh? All this a bad dream.
Devil or good, our maker we mate. Hit it we did, straight on, ya. Bow cut through that jelly mass. Bursting it went, like a blaster exploding, slushy and nasty. Stink came up bad like 1,000 graves opened, choking us. A sound too, shriek it was, not of this earth, madness in it. Thought I maybe we won, nay, but then I saw the green cloud.
Did we kill it? No, it's alive. It's all a dream. We're dead already, Johansson. Dead and dreaming.
Reforming it was, pulling back together, hateful shape growing again in that venomous froth. Escaped we did, yah, but dear we paid. Bride in his head broke right there. Laughed he did, shouting mad things. No help to me anymore.
Oh, stars are right. Stars are right.
Stars are right, he screamed over and over, till death took him, giggling in the dark. Me, I live, but whole, I'm not. Down I have written this, yah, what I can bear to think back on. Wife, she mustn't know, never. Death, a kindness it would be, if memories it could take. But enough it wouldn't be, I fear, nay, not enough.
Out of that nightmare came rescue. The Vigilant, the Vice Admiralty Court, the streets of Dunedin, and the long, silent voyage home. But what could he say? What could he tell them? They would call him mad. And so he wrote of all he had seen, all he had survived, before death could claim him. His wife would never know. It was better that way. Death, perhaps, was a mercy, if only it erased the memories. That was the document I read, and now I have placed it here, locked away beside the bas-relief, beside my uncle's papers. With it shall go my own account, my test of sanity, though I fear I know the verdict already. I have glimpsed the black heart of the universe, and now even the gentle skies of spring, the flowers of summer, they are poisoned to me. But I do not think my life will be long. My uncle, Johansson, they knew too much, and now so do I. The cult still lives, scattered in the shadows of the world, and Cthulhu lives, trapped, I pray, sealed once more in that abyssal city, beneath the waves, where the Vigilant sailed unknowingly above his tomb, yet his ministers still bellow, still pant and slay beneath nameless idols in lonely places. If he had escaped fully, the world would be screaming in terror. Who knows the end? What has risen may sink, and what has sunk may rise. Loathsomeness waits and dreams of the deep, and decay seeps through the crumbling cities of man. A time will come! No. I must not think of it. I must not dwell. If I do not survive this record, let those who find it be wise. Let them put caution before curiosity, lest these words bring ruin upon another soul.
The Call of Cthulhu was written by H.P. Lovecraft and adapted for broadcast by the Cult of the Midnight Weird. Not gonna lie, a little jealous of that Cthulhu cult. Say what you will about the ritual killing, summoning elder gods, and dancing in the nude. They are dedicated. I bet they don't even complain when someone asks them to take the garbage out! Speaking of, the Weird Cult is looking for new recruits on its mission for world domination. So, do the things. Join the cult! Do whatever. Yeah, that's all. Good night. I wandered around through stars and bound for somebody who could make me be true, could drown me in blue, and even be glad, lost in the mad, dreaming of you. Some others I've seen might never convene, with whispers so vast or shadows that last, but they wouldn't do. For nobody else gave me a thrill. With all your dread, those tentacles still had to be you, wonderful you, Cthulhu. Had to be you. What do you mean the mic is still on?